At least 80% of black women.
One man's I'm not ready is another man.
Welcome to Absolutely Not for the Meek. All right. I just love that intro. How you doing? It's Absolute of Absolutely Not for the Meek. And it is February 21st, 2024. And we are getting into some dysfunction like a motherfucker. But guess what? I want you to always remember this. Let's peep out what this bishop has to say.
One hand, they stand on a soapbox and say, black men are missing in the lives of their children and they're missing in the home. And the reason we have so much crime among black men is because of the absence of black male role models. But then on the other hand, when black men stand up as men, then they say that we're toxic and we're detrimental to society. You can't have it both ways.
Exactly. So today is my day when I get into some stuff that I saw years ago. You know, they had a thing years ago where a record amount of black women judges were elected. And let me see here. Hold on. Okay, maybe this is it. Yeah, I think so. All right, check this out. This is the article. It was like 5 years ago, 2018.
It was a sweeping decision 2018 win for African American women in Harris County. For the first time, 17 African American women who were running for judgeships won. Our Brittany Jeffers heard from one of those judges about the historic outcome and joins us live now with the story. Brittany.
And Bill, it was a historic number of victories. And for one judge-elect, she says that for her, it was both significant and meaningful. A historic midterm election. This picture, a proud representation.
We're excited. It was greatly significant.
The photo depicts 19 African-American women who were vying for judge seats. 17 of those were for Harris County positions, 2 for state positions. During the election, social media dubbed them the Houston 19. LaShawn Williams says that she was honored to be amongst the candidates in the...
This LaShawn Williams, she looks she's a fairly attractive woman. It looks like she takes care of herself and seemed quite sane, unlike a lot of the females we have seen in the news of late. So, you know, I don't have no qualms with her. She seems quite fitting, you know. She's laid back, seems intelligent. Let's go.
In the photo, but it means even more now, as soon she will take the bench as one of the 17 newly elected judges.
Across the board, the diversity of the Democratic ticket was huge, and I think it sent a message to the country that we can lead here in Harris County, we can lead in the state of Texas. But for Black women, particularly, we take a seat at the table and things change. For us in this community, it's going to change in terms of criminal justice reform, health care, These are the kinds of cases that will come before us, things that really affect and impact our community.
The Harris County Democratic Party says the 17 victories is historic. Williams says there's still a long way to go, but the wins are significant.
So we should have a diverse bench because we have a diverse community. Harris County is one of the most diverse in the nation. And so we're not just talking about diversity of gender and of race or color, but we're talking about of values and ideals. And the community is served when the bench looks like that.
Yes, that is interesting because right now, mind you, these are Democrats, Democrats, these females here, these women. And I want to show you. Let's remove that. We're done with that. Uh, Stop that screen. Okay. Now we're gonna go to. Let me see. Now there's a reason why they got elected, and you're gonna hear certain things that has happened, and it's not very good.
You got to be prepared when you do CrossFit.
Judge Mark Carter has a lot to work through. A few days ago, he lost his campaign for re-election as a criminal court judge in Harris County. He'd been on the bench for 15 years.
15 years.
Complete slaughter, man. It was the nuclear option. They took everybody out, good and bad.
Carter was one of 59 Republican judges who got wiped out by Democrats, thanks to an unusual quirk in the Texas election process. Voters can cast a straight ticket, meaning they check a single box and automatically vote for every Republican or every Democrat on the ballot. Harris County is...
So you hear that? This was pretty much a fluke. These women got elected all because they were Democrat. You know? And you're going to hear how bad it is.
Been trending blue for years now. But Beto O'Rourke brought out a surge of Democratic voters. Carter lost to someone who didn't even bother to campaign. What happened in the election here?
You know, what happened in this election was what happens in every election in Texas. And that is, you know, is going to be a party that wins.
Is that frustrating to you?
You know, not when you go into the game knowing what the rules are. When I accepted an appointment as a Republican and ran as a Republican for 15 years, I knew that being elected was not based on how good a job I was doing, because all of the Republicans that ran in the previous years all had the same number of votes that I had.
The changes that are coming to Houston's criminal justice system have reformers like Jay Jenkins seriously excited.
For 19 Black women and a socialist to be elected judge in Houston, which is the epicenter of mass incarceration, is not a small deal.
For the past few years, Jenkins's group has been fighting to reform Houston's bail system, which has left the city's jails packed with people who haven't been convicted of anything. A federal court recently found the practice unconstitutional.
The possibility that we could fix some of the issues that the sitting judges have just proved unwilling or unable to fix is on the horizon. You know, just the possibility of getting it done is an improvement over what we had.
Stephen Halpert, a public defender in Harris County, agrees that new faces on the bench will be a good thing. But he worries about what it'll mean to have so many new judges who weren't exactly picked for their resumes.
You have a number, quite a few, of the new judges that have never tried a murder case, let alone a capital murder case. It's going to be a learning experience for everybody, and that's not always good.
A learning experience. So these women had no experience whatsoever. And there was something where we'll get into it.
especially if you're a defendant.
You know what? There was a Judge Joe Brown on my last video. He talked about a woman that was elected and she has no experience, and she just teetered around for years and everything like that, and then got put into something else that she was the one and only, like she was the final thing. Oh my God. She had no experience. And she was dragged away and taken to jail. Wow, look at that.
Were there
Black woman. Black woman.
some judges that lost that really didn't deserve to lose?
There are judges that are universally liked by the defense bar, prosecutors, and that's unusual. And it's sad to see them go. But if they are going to do straight ticket, you're going to get some good judges in, but you're going to lose some really good judges.
This is a relic here, huh? Campaigning hasn't traditionally been a big part of your job.
No, I hate it.
Texas is doing what it can to prevent this kind of thing from happening again. In 2020, there'll be no more straight ticket voting. Only 7 states will still have it. But judges will still be elected, and the process will continue to be partisan. Is this the right way to choose judges in
Of course
Harris
not.
County?
No. The best way to select judges is through a nonpartisan appointment and retention system. You can either be a good politician or you can be a good judge. You can't be both.
Now, if you think that that wasn't on purpose, you got another thing coming. Because as we know from Fannie Lewis, she's backed by George Soros. Soros backed a whole bunch of DAs and prosecutors, all type of stuff. Let's go on to another one. Something. All right, let's go with this judge here.
Shot her, ex-boyfriend. Judge shot her, ex-boyfriend in the head while he was asleep. Come to find out, let's put her up full mask. She did something very similar to her ex-husband.
Wow.
She has been arrested. Harrisburg, 57-year-old Dauphin County Magisterial District Judge Sonia M. McKnight has been arrested after she allegedly shot her ex-boyfriend in the head as he slept. Per the police report, the bullet entered through his right temple before it exited through his left temple, resulting in him now being blind in one eye. She has been charged with first-degree attempted murder and aggravated assault. Wow. The incident occurred in the early morning hours, Saturday, February 10th, at the victim's home on Saddle Ridge Drive in Harrisburg. The ex-boyfriend, identified as Michael McCoy, had broken up with Judge McKnight and attempted to get her to move out multiple times. He informed Judge McKnight that he would call her mother to help her remove her belongings, solidifying the end of the relationship. Police noted that, quote, at this point, Sonia McKnight, the judge, responds, quote, "Oh, you're serious," end quote, and realized, quote, that it was over. When he woke up, he described having massive head pain and struggling to see. He had no knowledge of what actually happened yet. According to the report, after the victim was shot, he alleged that McKnight asked, "What did you do to yourself?" Question mark. He later told police that he did not hurt himself. According to multiple reports, McKnight called the police to the scene, but couldn't give a clear explanation as to what occurred. She could not explain what happened and stated that she was sleeping and heard him screaming, officials said. The gun used in the incident was registered to Judge McKnight, and the test determined that she, in fact, had gun residue on her hands. McKnight claimed that she didn't leave the home that night, but footage from the neighbors' doorbell cameras tells a completely different story and caught the judge in a complete lie. Cumberland County DA Sean McCormick is overseeing the case currently. According to PennLive.com, Judge McKnight curbed charges connected. She basically got away with this, okay? Connected to shooting her estranged husband in 2019. He was hit in the groin. Did y'all hear what I just said? He was hit in the groin, but ultimately survived his gunshot wounds. Quote, we found that Miss McKnight acted in self-defense, which is why our office did not file charges, the Attorney General's office reportedly said at that time. I wonder, did her connections help her then? Maybe if you would have treated her like the attempted murderer that she is, this guy has no headache and both eyes today. There's more. In November, Judge McKnight was also suspended after the Judicial Conduct Board claimed she violated judicial probation stemming from a previous case. The AP reported it was based on her alleged misconduct when a son was involved in a traffic stop in 2020. This is what you call a habitual line crosser. Now, these are things that we have for the record. So now we know, okay, well, likely what she did to her ex-husband, probably not self-defense. But the AG's office said, we made a judgment call, and that was our judgment call, all right? And then she gets suspended from the bench. She gets put on probation and then suspended from the bench because of her misconduct in an actual official proceeding. Once again, this is what we have for the record. Typically, there are multiple things done that we don't know for the record. They just got caught this particular time. And then she gaslights a man that she shoots in the head, according to the report. He's running around. She's asking him questions. She says she had nothing to do with it, but the gunpowder residue is on her hand. And when she lied about her whereabouts, well, the camera tells a different story. This seems to be evil personified. I would hate to see the reality of her judicial record as far as how she has ruled on cases. Because the person that has this level of disregard for basic human life, how can you have regard for human life you have never known in front of you in your court?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Excellent point, sir. And then also we have let's go into mayors. And we're going to go to that mayor that you probably know about, but this is a different mayor that I just saw. Let's check her out.
Now, this is one of the craziest mayors you're ever going to see. First, she violates her citizens' First Amendment rights by shutting them down in public meetings. Take a look.
Considered to be outrageous claims.
You're not going to sit here and assault me, lady I never met. Don't call my name because I don't know what book you're reading and I don't care.
Enough is enough.
This is a personal matter. It's not about criticizing. You can criticize my policy. You stop it. You stop it.
City Council meeting on September 6th, resident comments were shut down by the mayor. A federal judge issued a preliminary injunction to the city of East Point and Mayor Owens Wednesday, ordering that residents not be blocked from praising or criticizing public officials.
Then as crime gets out of control, she blames the residents for rising crime rates.
So you can never say the mayor disappointed you. You all disappoint me.
East Point's mayor putting her constituents on blast.
So don't blame the mayor for your city. Blame yourselves. Because it's deep rooted.
Oh yeah, if that's not enough, this mayor was also convicted of fraud. while mayor.
East Point Mayor Monique Owens in court Thursday via Zoom, and on the wrong side of the law. Owens faces a felony fraud charge. The judge gave her a $10,000 personal bond.
This story is crazy. This is Mayor Monique Owens, the first Black and first woman mayor of East Point, Michigan.
Now to a story of a Metro Detroit woman who's breaking down barriers both in her community and for the next generation of young leaders.
We are talking about Monique Owens, the first Black woman to ever hold the title of mayor in East Point. And tonight, in honor of Black History Month, 7 Action News reporter Andrea Isom shows us how she's making a lasting difference in the world.
To give this story the absolute justice it deserves, I think we need to go back in time just a little bit to a monumental moment in history in Metro Detroit. East Point, Michigan, its motto, the gateway to Macomb County, a family town. But now it can also be known as the city that has done something it had never done before.
I, Monique Owens, do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear to perform the duties of mayor. Of mayor.
I am the mayor of East Point.
36-year-old Mayor Monique Owens took the oath of office in November of 2019 as the first Black woman to ever hold this title, a position that comes with great pride for Mayor Owens and an incredible amount of responsibility. What do you reflect upon?
The people that came before me.
Now, this is a great story. There have been many Black mayors, politicians all over the country that have been successful on both sides of the political aisle. But the issue here is when you make such a big fuss over the first of anything, being a representative of the entire group, that has its consequences. If the person's a crook or not capable of being successful in that position, then people can also point to that person as representing the entire group in a negative way. Now, this
Exactly.
This is especially true when it comes to places like Dalton, Illinois, and East Point, Michigan. Now, the East Point mayor, when she got elected and got into power, she straight up became a tyrant, denying citizens the simple right to speak at a public hearing. She did not want to allow citizens to criticize the way she was running the government. Take a look.
She tends to bully, it looks like, senior citizens.
You'll see why East Point resident Mary Hall Rayford says that.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop you right there, or we're gonna stop the council meeting. I'm gonna have a point of order, and I'm gonna talk over you. This is gonna be one of those meetings y'all never seen before.
East Point Mayor Monique Owens cut her off during public comment with just under 3 minutes of Mary's allotted time remaining. And it happened to 2 other people at the same September meeting.
The outrageous claims.
You're not going to sit here and assault me, lady I never met.
You are out of line.
You are out of line. Now, do you want to stand there and talk about your cats and your dogs in the community, but you want to talk about me?
Now, Mayor Owens is not new to the game. She's actually a former officer and ran for city council back in 2018 and lost.
Monique Owens is a Wayne County Sheriff's deputy. She lives in East Point. After her car was stolen, she decided to run for council. If she won, she did not know that she'd become the first African-American to serve on East Point City Council. She lost by 816 votes.
As a Wayne County officer, I want to make a difference in where I lived at, because I make a difference where everybody else live at. Of course, I want to make a difference where I live.
Yo, hold on a second. I want you to look at this. Is that a lace front? Is that a lace front? Y'all should have known right there. You should have known right there. Man, listen. No way in hell. These are signs that you're dealing with a dysfunctional person that doesn't even like who they are.
Difference where everybody else live at. Of course, I want to make a difference where I live.
Now, under Mayor Owens' leadership, crime spiked, and the citizens blamed the mayor. But the mayor made it clear it was not her fault. It was the citizens' fault, and they shouldn't blame the mayor.
So you can never say the mayor disappointed you. You all disappoint me.
East Point's mayor putting her constituents on blast.
So don't blame the mayor for your city. Blame yourselves, because it's deep-rooted.
Mayor Monique Owens closed the January 17th council meeting with a 15-minute fireworks-filled finale after starting out with remarks honoring Dr. Martin Luther King for his teachings on love and unity. Owens making it clear she's sick of taking unfair criticism for what residents call a rise in crime.
So if straight up not allowing citizens to speak in a public forum is not enough, and then blaming them for the rise in crime and the mayor doing a bad job is not enough, the mayor was then arrested for fraud. See, the mayor applied for COVID funds, claiming she had a business that was veteran.
Wow. Yo, aren't all the low-life trash, didn't all of them go into that PPP loans? I mean, damn, when COVID hit and I heard the scammers, they was like, yo, man, I got me $250,000. I know a chick that did this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they just like had groups going ahead and getting this money. It was like, what? What the hell is going on? Man, look, and she was one of them. She was right on it.
Owned. And that business also had over 100 employees. So the state gave her $10,000 in COVID relief. But when prosecutors looked into it, they found it to be fraud.
This afternoon, Mayor Owens was arraigned on a charge of false pretenses, a 5-year felony, accused of lying on a COVID relief application in 2020 and receiving a $10,000 CARES Act grant from Macomb County.
The charges come about as a result of obtaining these funds on the application process, as well as some of the information that was provided that wasn't true.
Prosecutor Peter Lucido says the grant was for an LLC Owens owns. According to public record, the mayor has 4 businesses in her name.
This fall, the 39-year-old mayor was charged for falsely stating on a 2020 CARES Act grant that her business, Naturally Funny Talent Agency, was 51% veteran-owned. It's not, and that it had more than 100 employees. It doesn't. Owens received $10,000 from the grant and in September was ordered to pay that money back in restitution, which she did.
So the sitting mayor is now arrested for fraud, and she was arraigned on those fraud charges. Here's her arraignment.
East Point Mayor Monique Owens in court Thursday via Zoom, and on the wrong side of the law. Owens faces a felony fraud charge. The judge gave her a $10,000 personal bond.
We don't believe that she's a flight risk. She does have significant ties to the community. But the outstanding allegation of fraud is about receiving $10,000 for a CARES Act disclosure.
Obviously, it's just an allegation. There's no proof presented that she did anything wrong.
Since Owens was sworn in as the first Black woman elected as East Point's mayor in 2021, she's had a rocky time in office.
A rocky time indeed. So the evidence was so overwhelming against the mayor, she took a plea deal and was sentenced, but she was allowed to finish her term as mayor.
We begin tonight with that courtroom clash between the mayor of East Point and the judge during her sentencing hearing today. Monique Owens is now sentenced to 6 months probation. She also has to perform 100 hours of community service for misusing COVID-19 relief money for her personal business.
Now, the mayor tried to maintain her innocence while being sentenced for fraud, claiming that she was not the problem, but the judge wasn't having that.
Even though I fled, I know that I am not a problem.
Even though in September, East Point Mayor Monique Owens pled no contest for fraudulently applying for a grant, Thursday, at her sentencing, she said to cameras,
Don't believe the allegations that you have heard about me.
The Macomb County judge didn't take that well.
Are you talking to the TV or are you talking to me as the judge? Because I don't think you're talking to me as the judge. And you're really telling me you did absolutely nothing wrong, and therefore this case should be proceeding differently.
The judge ultimately sentenced her to 100 days of community service and 6 months probation, along with a few choice words.
Personally, I think you are a disappointment to our community and to the citizens of East Point.
Now, with all these problems, being arrested, violating people's rights, the whole thing, the mayor ran for re-election. and lost, only getting 14% of the vote. I still can't believe 14% of the people voted for her, but she got 14% of the vote.
We start in East Point.
Unofficial results show that Michael Kleinfeld will move on to the November election along with Mary Hall Rayford. Incumbent Mayor Monique Owens lost with only 14% of the votes.
All right, so it's time to keep it 100. Both parties do this.
All right, enough of this buffoonery. Enough of that buffoonery. So you see that. So that's a mayor. And let's see who else we have here. Because we have the famous one. Oh my goodness. I went into the wrong thing. My bad. Let me see. We went into. Get rid of that. All right, now we got the Dalton, the notorious Dalton mayor, the super mayor. Now FBI is investigating her.
Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update. Dane.
Yeah, we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dalton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges. Did the FBI agents you talked to seem serious about?
Yes, very serious.
Concerns?
Very, very serious. Very.
Lawrence Gardner owns a U-Haul rental and trucking business in South Suburban Dalton and says he went to the FBI several months ago, frustrated that the village of Dalton would not renew his business license. Gardner says he's been harassed and his business raided and shut down by Dalton police. He believes because he refused to make a donation to a civic event sponsored by Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
And I talked to a couple of agents and I explained them what was going on. I gave them all my paperwork to show them what was happening in court and what was happening in Dalton. And they told me they was investigating and they would be in touch with me.
Outrageous abuse of power.
Gardner is one of 6 people who confirmed to Fox 32 that they've been interviewed by the FBI, ranging from Dalton business owners to a former village employee and at least one public official. And we've learned the FBI has been using electronic surveillance as part of its investigation. Agents are asking questions about Henyard's alleged use of taxpayer dollars and resources, including massive spending on out-of-town trips, hundreds of thousands of dollars in police overtime for her personal security detail, using public employees and tax dollars for personal benefit, and holding up licenses to certain businesses like this Dalton restaurant.
I've heard rumors that say, hey, I'm on the wrong team.
Dwayne Wood has been trying to renew the business license for his restaurant for nearly a year. While he has not talked to the FBI, he believes he can't get approved because he's provided catering to several Dalton trustees who are engaged in a political fight with Henyard.
Yo, this sounds like mafia, like extortion. Like, yo, if you ain't giving money to what I want, man, like, oh man, this woman is insane. Insanely delusional.
I think I've been just targeted because of my association affiliation with a certain group of people. You know, I had the trustees. I've cooked for the trustees.
And in a lawsuit filed by a Dalton towing company, the owner alleges their business license has been held up because, quote, George's Towing's refusal to support or contribute to Henyard's political campaign. In a statement, Dalton trustee Jason House reacted to the news of the FBI's involvement. We welcome any investigation that will bring transparency on how taxpayer dollars are being spent. Our residents deserve this level of financial transparency. We went out to the FBI, which said it is policy for the agency not to comment on the nature, existence, or non-existence of any investigation that may be occurring.
Yo, this looks like this seemed pretty. Wow, this is straight up disgrace. Straight up disgrace. And you know, I have a contributor, a co-host, agitator. That we've been trying to get time to get together to do a segment, and he said, "Yo, why you on the black female so much?" Let me tell you something. I like black women. I love them, but black females, I got no love for them. I do believe they are the the garrison against their community, as you see. They you see extortion of their own community. Black business owners being extorted because they ain't contributing to what she wants, and destroyers of the family. And it's like, hey, you gotta blame the black man for dealing with these type of females. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of these black men were raised by the black female. The black female that got rid of the father, kept them away from their father, or they got with a father that was no good and he wasn't there because of her poor choices. So what the hell do you expect? Okay, maybe we should blame the citizens of Dalton County because they elected this former prison bird, jailbird, because she was convicted on some type of crime. I forgot what it was. But let's go to another one. Let's go to this black female judge. Oh, messed up. I didn't get it. Let's get it now.
After nearly 5 years of appeals, Judge Tracy Hunter is about to be sentenced for illegally helping her brother. She could get off with probation or receive the maximum 6-month jail sentence.
You are to do 6 months in the Hamilton County Justice Center. Credit 1 day. Mr. or Ms. Deputy can take her away.
The judge goes ahead and imposes the 6-month sentence. Immediately, the courtroom erupts. Her supporters are gasping, they're yelling, and someone seems to charge the defense table.
When she goes limp and being dragged out, it was horrific. You could hear the screeching, you could hear people crying.
Very passive aggressive, just kind of planks out and is dragged, literally dragged from the courtroom. Her heels scraping on the carpet.
At this point in my mind, she's...
Now I guess this looks just wonderful. Wonderful for the community, right? Everybody's proud of this, proud to see something like this. Why I'm bringing this up? Why am I speaking out about it? And listen.
Non-compliant. She's uncooperative. She won't stand up and just walk out of the courtroom with a little bit of dignity.
You could see the look in her eye and her body language, like, this is not reality. This isn't happening. What is going on? I am a judge. I used to be in that position.
I would consider that a minor protest. She wasn't going to fight with the officers, so you know what? You're going to have to bring me back there on your own.
Once in the hallway, Judge Hunter walks on her own as deputies escort her to the elevator. There, she changes out of her high heels before going to jail.
It's probably an out-of-body experience. I don't think anybody goes in with the dream of becoming a judge and having that dream end in prison time.
After the sentencing, there was an eruption in the community. There were many supporters of this former judge who didn't think that the guilty verdict and the eventual sentence was a fair one.
We cannot keep allowing this to happen to our people.
They felt that if she were a white judge, this would not have happened. The idea that the sitting judge was going to be sent to prison just really shocked the whole crowd.
Despite the protests, Judge Norbert Nadel, who handed out the original sentence, insists race did not play a factor and stands by his ruling of 6 months in jail.
I went through every court, and every court agreed with what I did 5 years ago. An elected public official is held to a higher standard than anybody else.
After the
Like a truck driver is, any professional is put at a higher standard. You F up, you got problems.
chaos in the courtroom, Judge Hunter begins serving her 6 months in jail.
When you've lost your career, when your name has been ran through the mud, I think it's unfair to then have to go to jail. She's a model citizen, just made some mistakes and irritated the judicial system.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I shouldn't go in on this. And the funny thing is, I'm not going in on them. They're going in on themselves. There is numerous footage of how these females are destroying the community. Let's check out these the ghetto ones here.
I give head, bitch. It be like no teeth, all throat, gummy type shit.
Yeah. Right on social media. All right. But you know what? I showed you the females, right? And I'm going to show you a black woman. I'm going to show you a fine example of what a black woman is in judicial power. Okay? And I am happy to present her to you. And she is wonderful. You're about to see what it is to raise an outstanding woman in the community that is doing good work, who has done hard work to get to where she is, and she is the ultimate representation of our community. Here we go.
An Army daughter who followed in her father's footsteps.
He was very timely, very orderly, and very clean. And that was from his military experience. And so I'm the same way, very timely, very orderly, and like things to be clean around me.
Pretty good looking
Active
too.
duty 4 years as a JAG officer, and today is part of the Texas National Guard. Erica Hughes says her parents had an idea of what profession she might pursue as early as the age of 5. Although they each described her differently.
I was a talkative kid and very assertive. And my parents would say, bossy or a leader is what my mom called it. You're a leader.
Just like my daughter, my baby.
First an attorney and now a judge in Harris County Criminal Court at Law number 3, sworn in January. One of 17 new African-American judges elected in Harris County in November that captured headlines across the country last fall.
So now I get to see some of them on the bench, some of them getting sworn in, and it is kind of a wow factor. I need you to know.
Hughes says she is passionate about teaching what she has learned along the way and is a professor in the paralegal program at San Jacinto Community College. Criminal courts and judges are still displaced from Hurricane Harvey, but Hughes says this is all she's known.
The good thing is you are really the judge or queen of your court. You can change the things to what you want them to be.
Defendants face Judge Hughes for low-level offenses from theft by check to trespassing, harassment, and DWIs. But she says she runs her court differently. There are no cookie-cutter sentences.
People look at a code book. You did this. It says this is what you get. This is what you get. Every situation's different. Every person is different.
She says many defendants want to take the easy way out, plead guilty, and serve their time. But she likes to look at alternatives like probation, treatment, and community service to give them a chance at rehab so they don't end up back in her courtroom.
I want you to know that you did make a mistake for sure, right? It's not go, you made a mistake, I'm going to let you go and you're free. I want you to do something that requires time, requires some effort. You can't just pay a fine and you can't just go do jail.
And she says keep the jails reserved for more serious offenders.
They want to go to jail, few days, get out, they're going to go right back to doing what they were doing. So my goal is to try to help them. Maybe I can't save everybody, but the goal is to try to save everybody.
Judge Erica Hughes, ABC 13's Woman of the Week.
Freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. Beautiful woman doing good work for the community. Not trying to destroy lives, not trying to commit fraud. No, sir. Doing good things. And that's what I'm about. What is you know, I ain't trying to man, whatever. Like I said, I don't know what that judge's opinion on things is, but maybe she's not the type to think that she don't need a man. Maybe she's the type of woman that has her family intact, has a husband, has her children, and works to raise these children, raise and build a legacy for her family, and knows certain basic things of her role as a wife. And we need improvement. Um, I'm not I'm not against black women at all. I love black women. I just don't like females. And females, let me tell you like this. If you don't understand what a female is, when you think of God, when God created Adam and Eve, right? He made the mold out of clay. Adam and Lilith. And I tell you, then he blew into them and they came alive, right? That is man and woman, right? How that turned out, it is what it is. But as when they were formed, they were male and female, soulless, no common sense, no wherewithal. So that is what I consider male and female. Take that damn filter off. I think make me look crazy up in here. So I mean NPCs. NPCs are male and female, mindless drones roaming around doing whatever, which are following the narrative, following the lies that they see on TV, following social media and seeing the narrative put out for them. Say not able to look further through the haze and the delusion and everything like that. They just stay right where they are because they happy there. It's easy to be there. It's easy not to be in reality. It's easy to be dysfunctional. When you see people that will stay dysfunctional, still commit crime, go to jail on a regular basis and see it like a vacation, you know, or to see like, they're on drugs and everything and they want to continue using the drugs, don't want to be a person in the community that should be looked up to or anything like that. They just want to be dysfunctional and just go in and out of jail and everything and think it's cool and everything. You see old dudes, old women up in jail with health issues and everything like that, dying of cancer, going blind, all type of stuff and everything, and they just keep on doing the same thing. Or they did the same thing until now it's over. They got that heavy sentence that they're going to be there until they die. They got premature death because they are locked up and they're not getting what they need. So, you know, you got mad dysfunctional men I ain't just about the females. I'm just showing you that that these people with education and everything like that, they're actually not women, they're females. They do the same old stuff, because a, a woman would not do those things. She would not do those things. Now, the other woman, I believe she's a woman. Uh, let me see. Uh, let me see if I can find it. This I'm gonna play this.
State's attorney that, fighting for racial justice in the criminal justice system, fighting to end mass incarceration.
Marilyn Mosby. Now, you might have heard that she just got convicted on all counts, um, perjury and mortgage fraud. Yo, she's looking at what, 40 years? 30 years for the mortgage fraud and the perjury, 2 counts of perjury she was convicted on. That's 5 years a pop. 40 years. Man. Whew.
In a state where you have the largest sort of incarceration of Black people in the entire nation, I understood that I was going to get pushback. I never expected the lawsuits, and I never expected to be on this side of the fence where when the only thing that I'm attempting to do is to provide equal justice to all, regardless of race, sex, religion, and occupation.
This is Merrick Garland's Department of Justice coming after her. Why would they want to stop her progress for equal justice? It just never made sense. But it didn't matter that there was.
Yeah. Oh boy. Pretty as all hell. And let me tell you, I hope they give her a very lenient sentence. This woman has lost her family. She's getting a divorce. Um, her now she can no longer practice law. She's got to start off all over again from scratch. I do believe I do believe they'll give her a lenient sentence due to who she is. But I mean, pretty much she did what a lot of people. A lot of people do, you know? And it's just a shame. She wanted funds because of the COVID thing. She wanted to get money out of her 401k so she can go ahead and buy some real estate down in Florida, you know? And I mean it's pretty much like that. I mean it's her money, right? It's her money. Freaking beautiful, bro. Mm, mm, mm. And the whole thing is she got a husband that's educated. He's he's an engineer. He's works he's a city councilman, and there was a thing about how he gave her 5 G's to close the deals on 2 properties in Florida, a condo and a house or something like that. And it's just unbelievable. I'm disgusted. Shoot, she need to be with me. Shit. God damn it. Like I said in my other video, darling, you get a chance, but reach out to me. Reach out so I can help you build back. Help you build back better. You know what I'm saying? We can make something happen. With a pouty mouth. All right, well, damn. It's amazing. I seen they had this thing, this dating show um where all these women come out when they're there, and then the guys come out and they're just so rude, popping the balloons and everything like that. And these guys have, careers, whatever like that. But nah, it's not good enough. But the only one that was respectful to everyone on the line was a Spanish, beautiful body, face, everything. She was a dime piece. I mean, yeah, I'll give her a freaking straight up 9 or 8. Let's say an 8. Definitely 8. That's without makeup, without anything. 8. And she was polite, and everybody's polite, and it went well. And this woman right here, she does not have the distinct girl attitude or nothing like that. She is pretty polite. I haven't seen her rude in any way, shape, or form. Getting irate in court, nothing like that. So, I hope everything's lenient, and I hope she gets her life back together. But that's it. I'm already at 55 minutes. I'm gonna call this a day. I would like to go ahead and go further in on her. Um, yeah, she deserves it because she tried her best. She got some bad situation. So, all right then. Well, I'm gonna call this a wrap. This is it. Thank you for joining me on Absolutely Not for the Meek, and I will see you next time.
Yes, that's it. Quite right, huh?
Oh, well, it was nice while it lasted, right?
It was nice while it lasted.